Hey guys, welcome back. BDC Gara here. We're back with another one of the characters, the only other character in Injustice 3.0, or I guess I should say Injustice Update 3.0. It's not like the sequel to Injustice 2. But this is Metal, the Batman who laughs. And so we can take a look at him here. We've got his passive available here, but we'll take a closer look in just a second.
Good point I want to make about his base stats. That shows his stats after all the support cards are taken into account. Hey, it even says Joker.
Yeah.
So it makes no, makes no attempt to hide it. This is basically a Joker reskin, but called Batman.
And on loading screens, I can actually maybe explain why.
Yeah.
So you can see special attacks. He's got a chance to trigger tarot cards, and we'll show you that in just a second. We go through a lot of fights. But what we wanted to do here was just really quickly show you the cost for each level. So you can see the Valorium Alloy and the credit costs for upgrading each of the specials, which is pretty massive.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you, I'm never doing that again. As massive as it is for the number of the new currency that it takes, it took a huge amount of time to edit it out so that it's not a painful back and forth buying and then coming into it and back.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's ridiculous. So like we said before with the Merciless, this is not actually going to unbalance the game because, one, the huge cost involved in
upgrading.
It's
going to be a long time before these characters are even good.
And even when they are, so remember, his base stats are only 2,800 on attack and damage each, which means, which may not be so obvious, is that augmentations are going to have a really small impact. And because he's limited to Elite VII for now and level 50, he's not going very far. So,
and here we can see his elite levels. You need multiple characters, multiple copies to elite them. So this is evolving it. This is allowing the ability to upgrade dark specials,
which happens at Elite 3.
Yeah.
And it tells you that we've got dark specials now. They charge up independently, and they give you an additional effect. The additional effect is okay, not game-breaking, right? Mm-hmm. So instead of the chance of one tarot card, you get a chance of two.
So increased chance of using tarot cards, 2 cards to be selected. And as you can see, the difference between Elite 3 and Elite 4 is 6 copies of the card. So these aren't cheap cards. These aren't cards that you're just going to get, 7, 8 copies and then call it a day to get it up to Elite 7. You need a ton of resources to even get them elited up, to even unlock the ability to spend, if you look at it, a pretty insane amount of currency.
Right. Each pack, for the chance to get 1 copy, there's only a 3.5% chance, I think, of each one, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. So as we go up to level 50, we're getting Elite 4, Elite 5, 6.
10 cards, 12 cards.
Right.
So there we go. That's
so there's
insanely expensive.
Yeah, but now when you max augment him, right, it doesn't go up that much because it's only the equivalent of increasing the base stats by 300.
Yeah, so we max augmented him there. You might need to reverse in time to actually see that change happen. But yeah, it's diminishing returns, right? Proportionally, it's not actually a big percentage of the stats, and it's not like Elite 10 level 60 where the initial augment actually gets the effect gets increased, right? Because it reapplies every level and it reapplies every elite level, and so because it's Elite 7 level 50, stats are actually lower.
Right.
So
lower for what you're starting with.
Yeah, well, for the value that you put in, for what you spend to augment them, you get less of an increase in final stats.
This might be the highest damage, barely, in terms of if it is. But it's not out of line. It's not really a huge amount of power creep if there is any.
Yeah, so here we go. And we're not exactly sure what was happening with the power last time. It seems like power is glitched in a lot of different ways in this update, but it doesn't look like power works in any weird ways because of dark power.
Goblin Robin.
Yeah, this is really interesting, actually. I learned my friend and resident DC lore historian, Alex, was actually talking with me. And the reason why they're reskins of different characters is because the metal universe it's a really like weird, twisty and twisted DC kind of universe where basically all the different metal Batmen stole somebody's kit for some reason. So there's an Aquaman, or there's like an Aqua Woman Batman. I think it's a female Batman.
That's
it's called like I forget what her name is.
Is it Mara?
No, it's like Win or something. It's like
Okay.
or no, it's Bryce, Bryce. It's like Bryce Wayne or whatever. So there's an Aquaman Batman.
Yeah.
There's a Joker Batman. The one who's the reskin of Ares, the Merciless, is actually a Wonder Woman / Ares Batman, in which he falls in love with Wonder Woman, and then Wonder Woman dies, and they're both trying to kill Ares, and then they take Ares' helmet and he puts it on. It's like, it's really weird.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Doesn't sound like the kind of comics I read when I was growing up. I'm just gonna point out there, that's the gear loadout, not because it's a good one, but because we want to illustrate the use of the specials, which is sort of the point of the passive.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess, I mean, if there's nothing else to recommend him to us, if his passive isn't that great, then it's interesting, but again, not game breaking. I've said that a bunch of times. I really, that's my overwhelming impression of it, is that it's not something that's going to make a huge difference in play. It's going to be a nice trophy for people who want to collect.
Yeah.
And it's going to be long-term kind of collecting.
And it's going to be a long time before anybody has these characters as actually good. It's interesting, because what I was thinking is, what it seemed to me is that once they added a new class of character, a whole new game mode centered around getting upgrades for them, and this kind of really long-term collection, I figured that what they would be doing is adding more, because it seems like this whole new class of cards and new game mode and everything all bespoke would be a waste to just have two characters with. But for the amount of time that it takes to get these two characters upgraded, they can really, hold off on adding any more metal characters for a while. But what's interesting is, now that I know the lore, there's like 6 or 7, I think. There's like a bunch that they actually can add in. So I wouldn't be entirely surprised if they added in more metal characters, but I also wouldn't be entirely surprised if that was months down the line when they wanted another kind of way to bridge the gap between long periods of not updating. Because
you bring up the not updating. On the one hand, I'm happy clearly that they're still developing new stuff. I mean, we've got a whole new mechanic, which is more reassuring than new characters.
Yeah, we've got like an offline quest system too, kind of.
But the way they're rolling it out, like you said, this is going to be something really long term, and it's going to give them the opportunity to not actually have to put things out for a while.
It kind of is a stopgap for releasing new content. Like, really, if they just gave us this, if you're assuming, and the introduction of a new currency, when I was talking with the same friend, I was talking about the introduction of the new currency might actually be an effort to make it less important whether or not you've glitched, because now your progress, right, your collection of stuff has nothing to do with the glitches that you've used or how often you've glitched or what glitches you've been around for, because it's an entirely new currency. The only way that we're gonna be able to get these guys fast again is if we actually find a new glitch for credits and can use it on the new credits.
Oh, I should mention, if it's not obvious to anybody who's watching or who has seen us before when we do sneak previews, this is a hacked account.
Yeah.
Which is why this is not going into online play. This is only doing single player. Oh, he's knocked out. Alright, so the smarter thing at this point to do would be to quit the fight. Somehow I just, one, not only do I not like to lose, but two, I don't really like to give up. Even when it seems like there's no chance. I just don't have enough health, especially in single player mode, and especially since I didn't gear the rest of the team properly.
Yeah.
It was really just to, obviously the power was to do more specials from Raging Green Lantern, and Hawker was for her passive so that we could tag in when we felt like it to try to get the bleeding from our Hobgoblin Robin. Hobgoblin. Is that a nice portmanteau?
Yeah, I think it is. But it's really interesting because it seems like they're killing a lot of birds with one stone here, right? This kind of says whatever to anybody who's been glitching so far.
Right, without having to... I mean, they fix it, but then they don't have to do anything to get rid of the gains from the glitch.
Yeah, they don't actually have to figure out who's glitching. This is just something new. It's a really long-term piece of content, so this lets them either, update less frequently or just kind of trickle out content. It doesn't put the same rush on them because they're worried that people have 100% of all the content maxed out.
So that was meant to be the last fight. I hate to leave it on a losing note, even though it doesn't really count for anything. So I'm going back in rematch. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is definitely really interesting, but actually going through and looking at the cost to upgrade is pretty staggering.
Oh yeah.
I don't know the numbers exactly, but how many hours do you think it would take to max out just one? Like hundreds, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, when you think about how many times you'd have to do the
Phantom Zone
event, and then for a chance at getting copies of the characters, and to accumulate enough of the Valorium Alloy and the Nth Metal, yeah, this is not happening anytime soon.
Yeah, so my initial supposition that they were gonna add new metal characters, you almost don't even need to.
Right.
These are enough to last for I don't know how long. This is probably gonna be something that a lot of people don't finish.
Okay.
No matter how long they play for.
Should I be embarrassed at how funny I think those Hobgoblin Robins are when they come out and sneak up on the tag-in?
No, they are funny. It's interesting. I mean, they obviously put a lot of work into that animation and special, which makes sense because in this universe, the Batman Who Laughs is the big head honcho, who was for some reason, like, not hired, but, like, enlisted by a bat god that is tied into the Wayne family. And, he went around all the other universes and was like, hey, evil Batman, come with me. Like, it's a wild story. There was, I got sent a link to, like, a summary of each of the characters. Maybe we'll post that in the description, because I think it's worth a read just for how ridiculous the concept is. Like, it's not grounded at all.
That is so bizarre.
But so there we go. Yeah, it's a bizarre character. Thank you guys so much for watching. I think that's everything we wanted to talk about.
Well, just maybe a reminder, we've got a Patreon if you want to throw us a bone or a buck.
Oh, that's true. Patreon.com/BDCKR, or you can click the link at the bottom right corner at the end of this video.
And a big thank you to the people who are already supporting us in what we do. Console Peasant, Eddie G, and Edwin Felix at the highest tier. iProfit, who's supporting us at the last word tier. And I'm going by memory now. Sean Farrell and Daniel Simonson, who are supporting us at the credited level.
Yeah, thank you guys so much, and thanks so much to everybody for watching. We'll see you guys next time.
Komoda.